I would assume they want to be open a couple years, 2 years, or a year and a half, or
Year and a half.
year and a half. So it would be in the next year and a half.
Yeah, we'd have access to that sewer line for a concession stand, but if we had bathrooms there too, right?
Yeah, we haven't worked that out yet, Tom, but this being a force main, we would probably just want our own connection. Because, you know, you can't tie into a force main, you know, two lines tying in the same force main.
Well, I'm talking about accessing that pump station that's there.
Yeah, but I think it would be much cheaper in the long run for us to just take the money they're gonna give us for the sewer easement and set that aside and just build our own little grinder pump there. That's all we need. You know, it's just a lot easier because we have to go to gravity line all the way down over the hill, and then we have to be worried about being in a pump station. I just think it's cleaner for us. Whenever we do a little concession stand there, it'll just be a simple little pump station.
My concern back to the construction is they're already playing soccer up there on those fields, so, I mean, it looks like you're digging up right in the middle of.
Now, it would be in between the fields. We would, I mean, whatever condition the board wants to put on this, but I think that they would accommodate whatever it takes to do the work, protect the field, do it whenever it wouldn't interrupt anything related to the soccer practice. In fact, if you approve this, I'm assuming that once they figure out their design, they could do it through the winter. I mean, even if that was the case.
Yeah, that would be something that would
It's a
be
good comment.
appreciated, is if you make sure we make that a condition.
Supervisor Fisher, part of a proposed easement agreement, and granting this one of the conditions we would insist on would be that they do this at a time where it would be minimally intrusive onto the use of the fields, and they've agreed to that.
I just want to make sure that it happens, because we often have agreements that aren't followed through with, so just as long as that happens, that's fine.
No problem.
Mr. Chairman, question?
Yep.
Andy, where's the existing parking that they have now?
The existing parking for, is not shown on here, but actually come off of Reserve Drive and you come down, oh, I'm sorry, you see it right here. This is the current parking right here. So there's parking up at the top. This is the gravel lot that the Reserve installed.
And how many spaces do we have on our existing
I
lot?
want to say there's probably about 80 spaces there now. It's all gravel, it's not paved.
It's not paved, it's not
So-
lined.
So the additional 16 will be, that's just a gravel lot?
What we discussed is paving like a bituminous driveway to get up, and then this would just be a gravel lot. Or, you know, it wouldn't be a paved lot at this point in time.
If you're gonna pave up to it, why wouldn't you just continue?
Well, just for the fact that, you know, the parking lot's kind of level, and, you know, you want on the steeper slope, you probably might want that to be gravel and that would be paved. It's up to the board. I mean, they've offered this, they initially just offered parking spaces. When we got into the engineering a little bit more, it's pretty substantial, the size of the driveway that they're going to put in. It's a couple hundred feet to get up there. I wanted it to be where there would be good access to the rest of the park. We didn't want, the original parking was shown down over the hill, over in this location. I said, that's not going to do us any good for the park. Let's get it up to where it makes sense, and this was a reasonable accommodation. So I think they've looked at a dollar amount, and I don't want to speak for them. It's up. You guys got to come up and talk. I'm not going to be here negotiating for you.
Will that,
It's my job.
will some dirt work need to be done there, or is it pretty much?
Yeah, they have to grade that. They'll have to grade that out. That area is like, that was like a dump area where not a dump, that's a bad word. It was a fill area where they took excess dirt from the reserve and they put it over there. So they'll have to accommodate it by building that driveway out there, grading off the parking lot, and then putting down, usually you put down some sort of geotextile fabric and then put the gravel on top of it. So it would be in a position, Eric, that in the future that it could be paved, just like the other one is, and you can pave it at any time. So they'd have the base down and be ready to be paved.
Mr. Burnout's there.
Initially, we wanted to do more spaces, and we were planning on going right off the road. We just pulled right off our road, and just the way the grading turned out, we had to put a road to it to get closer, like Dan said. So that's why, cost effective trying to make it, pave the road and then the 16 spots, and since there's already gravel on the other would be sufficient for that.
Can you hear him at that?
Any other questions for him? And Chris, I think we have to tie into that agreement too. Chris worked on for the use of that.
I just wanted to say, Tom, before you jump into that, I did reach out to Ned from the Montour Trail Council just to show them this plan also because they've been involved in this connection. Ned and I talked and we think we can reasonably accommodate this. We're not into all the details yet. We'll work with them on the final details related to that, but I just wanted to convey that to the board.
Oh, sure. Yeah, there's no problem. This can be worked out. So it doesn't jeopardize this additional effort. In fact, I'm sure that some cooperative stuff can be done and they'll enhance each other.
The question, the trail coming down from the Montour Trail, didn't study the topographical map, but how steep is that, or what does,
It's steep, Eric. That's why we have those switchbacks that are located on the trail. So,
with this final setup, how steep is that?
yeah, the maximum grade is 12%. So what they have to do is they'll have to provide a couple of landings on the way up to Reserve Drive. So you can't quite see them in there, but there's some little turnoff areas where people can, like we have those bulbs, or those little circles where people can turn around. There will be a place that people can pull on the side as they're coming up there. So again, we're going to work out those details with the trail.
That was considered, Ned and I sit on Montour Trail Committee, that was a big consideration when the plan for the trail coming up there was drawn out.
And was there something in the document I read of the maintenance? Is it for that stone or gravel driveway, or?
Yeah, I believe, Chris, the maintenance for the driveway and that portion was planned to be the requirement of the developer.
Well, the right-of-way would be the responsibility of the developer, as would the crushed stone sidewalk trail connecting from where the Montour Trail intersects with the right-of-way to Reserve Drive. That would be the developer's responsibility. The developer would build the stone parking lot and the access drive to that parking lot, but then the township would be responsible for its own drive and parking lot after they build it. So the long access road would be the developer's responsibility, but the parking lot and the offshoot paved connector would be the township's after it's initially built.
Dan, I would have concerns about that then, if we're responsible for that parking. We had a hearing on this, and I walked that property, probably a year ago. I believe there's wetlands down there.
Not where this parking lot is. There's some wetlands that are interdispersed on the west side. Right? You're right, there are wetlands there, but not in that location. They're more
In the east?
They're over on this side, and we're avoiding them. We actually have a permit for that part of the trail. We actually have an MPS permit for that piece of the trail that we built. The only reason that I'll just Chris and I had some discussions on the maintenance. The only thing I thought in terms of the maintenance is if that's our parking area, we're going to, it's used for township residents. We want to make sure it's maintained properly and stuff like that. The developer would be plowing the road, taking care of the road like he has to do anyway. So for him to maintain that piece of the trail makes sense because it's right along that right of way. This little parking area they're going to build is a benefit to the township, just like the reserve guys built that other parking area and we maintained it. This doesn't, we're going to be over there maintaining the park anyway. There are spaces. I just thought, if there's a problem, then who do you chase down to fix it? Unless it's the townships. But your comments, it's not my agreement, it's your agreement, I'm just giving you my thought process.
Well, there was concerns with stormwater runoff. I believe there was three ladies here from Cecil Henderson Road. Down on the other side of that, there was flooding and runoff issues.
Well, these guys are going to have to build their own system and get their own permit for anything that they do down below there, including this road. So that'll have to be accommodated with stormwater. to address your concerns. That's a whole other process. They're gonna come back to you with a land development plan, which they've not even brought back to you. You'll still see
There's
this.
the potential that that would actually make that better for the people that live on Cecil Henderson.
We can look at what we can do to make it better. You could probably run the water to the creek in a different direction so it's not getting in the backyard.
I'm sorry, does anyone remember, did they have issues of the trees being removed, or was that part of the erosion problem?
The woman who had the issues with the trees
Yes.
basically is actually further down.
Okay.
It's actually where the trail's connecting, she goes further down that way.
I think we had that same issue in Ridgewood. That developer Ridgewood tore out all those trees and upset the existing neighbors, but, you know, we can't, it was his property. I thought it was foolish to tear down all those trees, but they were his, and if this developer is developing his property, they're his trees. I mean, it's a shame to see him go, but, you know, you can't prohibit development on their own property. Any other comments?
Maybe something worth bringing up is one of the stimulus behind this is their request to rezone this property from R1 to C1 to install to construct an indoor recreation facility. They are requesting that they go through township-owned property to do that. So when you're zone C1, you are permitted to do any permitted C1 use. And they have agreed, since it is their intent to build an indoor recreation facility, which would be consistent with soccer fields that are in the township property, to restrict their use of the easement through our property to access to the public parks or to an indoor recreation facility. And the township would have the right to revoke that easement in the event the use on the property changed. So it's a protection to keep it as an indoor recreation facility. And that would be part of, I guess, item number 191, which is right below. And it might be a good idea if we are going to act on these tonight that we act on 191 and 192 before approving the zoning change to get the restrictions in place prior to switching it from R1 to C1.
Because one with us was contingent on the other.
Right, but I don't want to have it passed and then push off the agreements until later.
All right, do you have any objection to that? That's your applicant for all three of them. So give us a minute. Let us look at 191, 2016. It's considered that a right-of-way, permanent right-of-way slope easement through tax parcel such as 04200 and 04107. They're lot 3. You got to explain that to everybody, either Chris or Dan.
And an earlier, so if you look at the parcel up there, or the illustration up there, the parcel with the soccer fields, that's the Klinger Park, and the lot 3 is the one by the cul-de-sac in the bottom left. And the first portion of the road actually goes through lot 3, which the township acquired via deed of dedication at our August meeting. From the reserve development. Yes, in the lower left.
Bruce, are we able to see that total map, or will that come out to show the public by chance? Or is that's all there is?